Fulgrim, the Primarch of the Emperor's Children, was discovered as an infant on the bleak, resource-scarce world of Chemos. Raised in a society that valued survival over beauty, Fulgrim quickly proved himself to be more than just a mere child of Chemos. By the age of 15, he had transformed the entire planet's infrastructure, pulling it from the brink of collapse and turning it into a thriving industrial hub. His exceptional leadership and visionary prowess marked him as a beacon of hope amidst the harsh reality of life on Chemos. When the Emperor finally found him, Fulgrim's reunion with his father was met with an unexpected revelation. The Emperor's Children Legion, which Fulgrim was meant to lead, had been struck by a disastrous genetic accident early in its development. Nearly all of the gene seed that formed the core of the Legion's warriors had been destroyed, leaving only a few hundred Space Marines alive. Despite this dire situation, the few surviving warriors made a great sacrifice during the Proxima Compliance. During the ceremony, insurrectionists armed with the Vortex weapon almost killed the Emperor. The 16th cohort of the Emperor's Children, alongside the Legio Custodes, intervened, saving the Emperor's life at the cost of their own. As a result of their bravery, the Emperor's Children were granted the highest honor, permission to bear the Aquila, the Emperor's personal symbol, upon their armor. This symbol, coupled with their name, became a testament to their loyalty and sacrifice. Fulgrim took this as a personal mission, vowing that his legion would forever strive to live up to the perfection embodied by the Emperor. Under his leadership, the Emperor's Children would be reborn from the ashes of near annihilation, rising like a phoenix to achieve glory in the Emperor's name. This early struggle to survive and their miraculous recovery instilled a fierce drive for perfection within the Legion. Fulgrim pushed himself and his warriors to constantly strive for excellence in all things, from martial prowess to art and culture. However, this relentless pursuit of perfection also sowed the seeds of future corruption. Fulgrim's obsession with surpassing the Emperor's expectations would lead him down a dark path, one that would eventually see him forsake the very ideals that once defined him. During the Great Crusade, Fulgrim was known as a masterful warrior and a charismatic leader. He led the Emperor's Children with elegance and precision, conquering world after world in the Emperor's name. His tactics were flawless, his strategies immaculate. He was often seen alongside his brother, Horus Heresy of the Iron Hands, with whom he shared a close bond. The two Primarchs complemented each other, Fulgrim the master of art and beauty, and Horus the unyielding hammer of industry. This bond was symbolized when they exchanged weapons they had personally crafted for one another. Fulgrim received the Thunderhammer Forgebreaker, and Horus took Laer Blade. The rivalry was of mutual respect, pushing each other to greater heights. However, beneath his camaraderie, Fulgrim's ambition was growing unchecked. He began to see the quest for perfection not merely as a duty, but as an obsession. The seeds of corruption were sown, though Fulgrim was unaware of how deep they would take root. During one of his most faithful campaigns, the Cleansing of Laer, Fulgrim claimed a Xenos sword, known later as the Laer Blade. Unbeknownst to him, the blade was a demon weapon, infused with the essence of Slaanesh, the chaos god of excess and hedonism. Fulgrim's obsession began to manifest more outwardly. His desire to perfect his legion, his tactics, and himself became a driving force, pushing him beyond the limits of sanity. The demon's whispers began to influence his decision, leading him down a path of excess and corruption. Fulgrim's gradual descent was marked by increasing isolation from his brothers, especially Horus Heresy. Where once he sought his approval, no Fulgrim sought to outshine him. The obsession was no longer just about perfection, it was about proving his superiority over everyone, even the Emperor. When the Horus Heresy began, Fulgrim was one of the first Primarchs to be seduced by chaos. His fall was gradual, driven by his unrelenting quest for perfection and the whispers of the demon within the Laer Blade. Fulgrim, once a paragon of loyalty and excellence, began to change. His noble ideals corrupted into a ravenous hunger for power and pleasure. It was Horus, the War Master and one-time beloved brother, who recognized Fulgrim's growing darkness and lured him fully into rebellion against the Emperor. Fulgrim embraced this turn, believing that only through chaos and excess could he achieve true greatness. Fulgrim's descent into treachery culminated into the tragic drop site massacre on Isvan V, a pivotal moment in the Horus Heresy. Here, Fulgrim faced his closest friend, Theris Manus of the Iron Hands. The two had always shared a unique bond, one of rivalry and mutual admiration. They had even exchanged weapons as tokens of their brotherhood, but on the battlefield of Isvan V, all camaraderie was shattered. Manipulated by the demon within his sword and overcome by pride, Fulgrim fought Theris in single combat, wielding the blade that had already begun to consume his soul. In the heat of battle, Fulgrim struck down Theris Manus, killing his friend in a moment of fury and regret. For a brief instant, Fulgrim's consciousness reawakened, and he was horrified by what he had done. But it was too late. The demon within the blade fully seized control, completing Fulgrim's corruption. With the blood of his closest brother on his hands, Fulgrim's spirit was broken, and he became a willing servant of Slaanesh. His legion, once the embodiment of noble perfection, was now a twisted reflection of his own madness, driven by hedonistic excess and a hunger for sensation. After the drop site massacre, Fulgrim's role within the traitor forces shifted. His relationship with the other Primarchs became increasingly volatile. He was no longer a reliable ally, but rather a dangerous wildcard, prone to fits of rage and driven by selfish desires. Yet, he remained a powerful force within Horus's War Council, often acting as a vanguard in critical battles. His charisma and unpredictability made him both a boon and a threat to the traitor cause. This instability only deepened as the war dragged on, making him increasingly difficult for Horus to control. By the time of the Siege of Terra, Fulgrim was a fully ascended demon prince, his body a twisted masterpiece of beauty and horror. His role in the final battle for the Emperor's Palace was defined by his unpredictability and sadism. Unlike some of the other Primarchs, Fulgrim was not interested in victory for the sake of Horus's grand vision. Instead, he saw the siege as the ultimate stage to showcase his magnificence and to indulge in the suffering of others. During the initial assaults on the Imperial Palace, Fulgrim and his Emperor's children unleashed a reign of terror upon the defenders. His legion, once known for its elegance and precision, had become a grotesque parody of its former self, torturing and mutilating their foes in displays of decadent cruelty. Fulgrim's own attacks were driven by a need to outshine his brothers. He sought to prove that even among the fallen, he alone could achieve perfection in the art of warfare and slaughter. One of Fulgrim's most significant contributions to the siege was his personal assault on the Saturnine Gate, one of the most heavily defended positions of the palace. Leading his corrupted warriors, Fulgrim carved a path through the Imperial Fists and their loyalist allies, seeking to break through the defenses and claim glory. It was during this attack that Fulgrim confronted his brother, Rogel Dorn, the stoic and unyielding defender of Terra. Their battle was a clash of opposites, Dorn the embodiment of discipline and fortitude versus Fulgrim, the avatar of excess and hedonistic fury. Despite his newfound power as a demon prince, Fulgrim found himself unable to break Dorn's resolve. The battle ended in a stalemate, with Fulgrim retreating in a fit of rage when the Emperor's psychic shield rebuffed his attempts to breach the inner sanctum. He left behind a trail of devastation and despair, but failed to deliver the crushing blow he had hoped for. In the final stages of the siege, Fulgrim's focus shifted from the battle itself to satisfying his own dark desires. While Horus and the other traitor Primarchs remained committed to overthrowing the Emperor, Fulgrim and his Emperor's children descended into madness, turning on their own allies in fits of rage and excess. As the Loyalists rallied and Horus's forces began to splinter, Fulgrim abandoned the battlefield altogether, retreating into the warp with his legion to continue his twisted pursuits.